With this energy of the Seven of Pentacles, this person is convinced that you are the real deal. It feels like when they first met you, they were observing, they were waiting for the other shoe to drop. What's the catch? You seem too good to be true, kind of like that Seven of Cups energy, the illusion. Time has passed. The situation between the two of you has been tested by their unwillingness to just sort of charge forth, open up about their feelings, or be very quick and proactive about their actions towards you. And so this is something where something inside of them has shifted, and they are seeing you and this circumstance as perhaps the blessing and love that they have been waiting on, something that is very much hidden in plain sight. Like they know that there are additional layers to you in this connection that can only be discovered if they are willing and able to put in the work to kind of earn access to that inner sanctum within you. But this is also somebody that sees and is very motivated at this particular point in time to take steps forward. There is confidence that whatever else is to be revealed about you as they come in closer, even as your human flaws are exposed or aspects about you that don't necessarily align with like their preferences or who they are as a person, this is something where they feel you can find a way to compromise, or they are willing to make certain exceptions for you. It's worth those differences or any kind of points of conflict that you may encounter with one another, because what they've seen so far, what you have revealed without even knowing, like it feels like this person might have taken a step back and has kind of been watching from a distance, and this has provided them with some sort of reassurance within. It has relaxed them and has encouraged them to take steps forward towards you, seize the moment and opportunity, and explore what more can kind of happen or blossom between the two of you. We also have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, so this person has taken a step back from you. Obviously, you know that. Energetically, you may still feel the connection to them, but they have left the door wide open for communication. This is almost a person that's like, I'll be back. I will return, and we will try to pick up where we left off. This is somebody that needed that time to kind of observe, because again, there was something about you that almost felt too good to be true. This person may be very discerning as far as who they give their heart to. They are not at a point in their life of wanting to build something romantically with someone and then come to find out, hey, I was working with someone and the reality of this person is very different than the image that they presented, and so it all falls apart and I have to start all over again. So it feels like when this person comes back around, when they sort of use that open access point that still remains between the two of you, or it may be something, where they're having to come with some explanations or a little bit of a different approach. This is somebody that is almost feeling like perhaps this period of time that they needed to take to think, to observe from afar, this has satisfied some sort of aspect within them that is more comfortable with giving more to this situation, receiving the fullness of who you are, taking you in at face value, rather than letting kind of, aspects of doubt inside of them cause them to sort of miss out on the opportunity for deeper experiences with you, or somebody that doesn't want to just be in your presence and they're almost like sleeping with one eye open, or very tense and kind of like, I don't know if I can fully immerse myself in this emotional experience, because what if I get hooked? What if I get into this? What if I fall in love and then it turns out to be something where I've just built in a direction and then it all falls apart again? We also have the Devil. So this person is definitely at a point in their life where they are looking for something that is like a higher experience than just kind of an ordinary, earthly, mundane love. This is somebody that it feels like they have run the full range of different kinds of like toxic connections that might have been, fine and good and sort of mediocre overall, but had limits, didn't quite quench deeper desires within their soul, deeper emotional levels. It was like they were always holding back, or they could only sort of meet the individuals that they were connecting with or interested in so deeply. People that might not have been operating on the same plane, energetically speaking, intelligence wise, emotionally speaking. The values weren't totally aligned. The idea of what partnership was or is like wasn't totally aligned. There was always something that was kind of a missing ingredient, a missing link to feeling like, yeah, I've really, spent my time well. I've had a really good connection. This is something that has long-term potential. And so this is something where when they come back around, they are able to, if you are willing to sort of hear them out, you're willing to give them an opportunity to sort of change their tune, take a different approach, and invest more with you, more consistency, more of like actions as opposed to just sort of, hovering around with kind of one foot in, one foot out. This is something that it feels like this person is able to really surprise you in terms of how they are willing to participate, how they are willing to build with you, how they are willing to show up because they have seen something about you that still is intriguing them. Despite the fact that they had to take that step back, you initially were presenting as like not just good, not just a good potential, but wish fulfillment in a lot of ways. And so it feels like because they've listened to that voice of hesitation within, they've honored that place within themselves. When they show back up, when they reach out, when you arrive to the point of maybe even something that's divinely orchestrated where you'll encounter this person, you'll run into this person, you'll see this person out and about, and the conversation takes place again, it feels like you're really going to notice a change within them, something that is a lot more relaxed, a lot more open, a lot less guarded, that'll be kind of a signal to you that this person has taken the time to kind of work beyond some sort of hesitation within. And so if you're willing to give them another chance, another opportunity, or take things a step further, this is somebody that really has the experience to meet higher expectations that you might have for partnership, because they too are looking for something out of the ordinary, outside of the box. I have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, so this person's been preparing a speech. They have been planning what they want to say to you. They have been rehearsing this. Like, I'm getting this kind of image in my mind's eye of someone standing in front of the bathroom mirror, kind of like having that conversation with themselves out loud, kind of like, how's this going to sound? What am I going to say? What's that approach going to be like? They have planned it out down to the last detail. All that remains at this particular point in time is taking action in that direction. And so definitely expect to hear from this person again. It may even be something where they're almost like manifesting an opportunity just to see you out, like out and about randomly, casual sense, like they're telling themselves, okay, next week I'm going to reach out, and then tomorrow there you are in the grocery store, there you are in the coffee shop, there you are like walking down the street, or in some kind of like shared unexpected location, and that speech that they've been prepared, that they've been rehearsing, then they're going to have to improv that. They're either going to have to kind of move beyond that entirely because it catches them off guard, or it's something where the universe gives them that little push, that little shove, that little nudge that lets them know, hey, this is the time. Like, cool, you honored yourself, you honored that kind of need within to sort of check things out before you fully got invested, or chose to open up more emotionally. You've done that. Something inside of you's been satisfied that, like, yeah, the encounter with this person, what I've experienced, it feels right. Like, I can trust my gut, I can trust my instinct. Maybe for some, they've been like watching your socials from afar, kind of like pondering, soul searching, thinking about things, kind of like watching you move through your environment without really approaching, without really saying something, being very nonchalant, or even kind of pretending to be busy or distracted, but like keeping an eye on you. All of that is something that it feels like the universe is going to honor them, like congratulate them for not going against a level of hesitation within that almost sort of like signals there was something within them that needed to be calibrated. They needed to be in a place of reassurance that what was starting to kind of build emotionally was something that they were like actually ready for. And so it's not something the universe is going to like punish them, like, oh, you took a step back, you honored your hesitation. Well, that's not a good thing. The only person that can like punish them in this situation is you and your ego. If you were like, okay, I'm not going to honor the very sort of human aspects of you, that although you might have had the best intentions coming in, your fear got the best of you for a minute. So, you do have that choice. hear them out, have a conversation, or just kind of push them to the side and close that door of opportunity. But it feels like for a lot of you, kind of the clarity or honesty that this person brings forward, something inside of you is also going to shift the stance that you've taken, where you're like, I don't know what to expect out of this situation. I don't know what to expect out of this person. It seemed like things were going well, and then they kind of changed up on me. Whatever this kind of leads to sort of going forward, this kind of divinely orchestrated, meeting between the two of you, or something where they're actually able to say, like, next week I'm reaching out, and they follow through on that. It feels like it's going to provide you with a lot of clarity, a lot of reassurance. This isn't somebody with the Ace of Swords that they're just going to come in and like pretend nothing has happened. They understand there's some kind of explanation that's owed. They understand that there's a lot more clarity, a lot more kind of willingness to communicate consistently, and maybe even more deeply than they had before. And so they're like preparing themselves to do that. We also have the Six of Swords. Yeah, so this is something where they want to have like a lengthy conversation with you. If you will hear them out, this is not something that is just going to be very like cold, crisp communication. This is like they're taking off the mask. They are letting you in, letting you sort of know even about some of those fears and hesitations. They may even, apologize for kind of their conduct, their behavior, for just sort of disappearing. Definitely somebody that's not going to, just sweep it under the rug and pretend that nothing has happened. They'll give that apology, but then it feels like kind of an icebreaker between the two of you is to be able then to kind of get into those deeper reasons. Hey, I'm sorry that, I kind of backed off from this connection. This is what I was feeling. This was my hesitation. These have been my experiences in dating and romance recently, and I let that trip me up for a minute, but I'm hoping that you'll give me an opportunity to redeem myself, to turn this situation around, because I think you're really great. I think you're really cool. I think you're really amazing. You're really sexy. You're really beautiful. You're really wonderful. And if you would give me another opportunity, I would like to kind of rise to the occasion of meeting you at the level that is worthy of you, that you deserve, so that we could have the potential to get things back on track and head in a better direction. Yeah, we have the King of Swords. So again, this is somebody that fully intends on explaining to you as much as you want to know. Any questions that you have, they're willing to answer that. If you need to give them a piece of your mind, you need to express yourself, your hurt, your confusion, your frustration, your hesitation. This is somebody that is like preparing themselves not to get triggered by that, not to let their ego kind of dominate in this situation, and just expect that you're going to be like so grateful that they showed back up. Wow, thanks. Great. I was waiting to hear from you. Yeah, sure. Just speak your piece and then we're cool. All's back to normal. Or we'll get back to where we were when I was so open and enthusiastic to experience something with you, and then you just dropped off the radar. This is something where they are trying to kind of get into that space where they can hold within themselves energetically the capacity to receive like the fullness of your emotions, even if it's not, welcoming them back with open arms quite yet, something where you're sort of like, I need some time. Now I need to vet the situation out. It's like they understand that. They have enough insight as far as what's happened in this situation to know that it's kind of like, okay, they've created a little bit of awkwardness between the two of you. They've created sort of an open space where they need to fill that with explanations. They need to fill that with clarity. They need to fill that with truth. Not a song and dance that, would kind of alert you to somebody with sort of manipulative intentions, but something where it's like, I'm providing you full disclosure. I'm providing you clarity. I will follow through on that with consistency if you will allow me to. I will follow through with that on a change of pace in terms of the nature of our communication, follow through on plans that we make, kind of like really showing you that I want to take this to the next level. Yeah, we also have the Six of Pentacles. So this is somebody that anticipates it's going to take some time for the two of you to kind of move beyond anything where, you have hurt feelings, you have confusion. That is very valid based on what has happened between the two of you. So this is somebody that is willing to put that work little by little. They don't expect that they're going to come in with this big, long conversation. And even if you're like, great, okay, let's get back on track. This is somebody that really wants to make sure that you are stable and grounded within that trust of them, the extension of trust, and making sure that that like takes root, that establishes in some sort of way. Because this is someone that understands, like, if you are able to kind of move forth with them from whatever has happened, anything that they've kind of like gone quiet, they pulled back their energy, that there's a sense of sort of like they don't want to test your patience. They don't want to take any grace that you extend to them. They don't want to like take that for granted. This is somebody that is like, I don't want to, get you to let down your guard or get you to let me in and then I disappear again. I want to make sure that you know, if you're allowing me to show back up, that I'm good for the long term. I'm good for, consistency in this connection. I'm good to have more experiences with you, give in more, little by little, and kind of build into this place where we can actively move over the course of time beyond that place of, any insecurities that have been stirred up within you. A lot of you might have thought, did I say something? Did I do something? It seemed like everything was good. What changed? You could have really like turned within and sort of looked like what happened in that situation. It seemed like this was, a nice person. It seemed like this was a great person. It seemed like we had great chemistry, great connection. Like what changed? What happened in this circumstance? And so again, they're anticipating that it's going to require more than kind of just, I'm speaking. I'm breaking the silence between the two of us. I'm more actively participating with you, and all's just sort of forgiven and forgotten, and we're looking at each other with kind of stars in our eyes once again. There's something that they feel like you can get to that point with one another, but it's really going to require them sort of like making amends with you through showing up, like a living amends, actionable amends. Kind of just like, here I am, and I'm consistently here, and we're going at the flow that like you set the tone and pace of what that looks like. I am kind of giving in more than I had before. I'm showing up and understanding that probably for you to fully sort of move into that space of like, okay, this person's here, they're sticking around, they're not going anywhere, and you're able to kind of open your heart, open your mind, open your energy, or make room in your life for the return or the reemergence, or kind of the progression of this connection forward into something else. This person knows that that's going to like take some time, and they're willing to put in that work slowly but surely to let you know, here I am, I'm not going anywhere, and if you'll have me, I'd like to see this through into a better tomorrow between the two of us. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.